Good morning, everybody. We've got 2 Interwatch items to go over, and then we're going to go over the our Chief Ramsey's tweet about firearm larcenies from Otto that he posted yesterday. So first we'll cover the 2 robberies. First robbery we'll talk about is 17C 027625, 17C 27625. Robbery 400 block of North Hillside, April 26th at 9:35 a.m. On 4/26 at 9:35 a.m., an unknown suspect entered the Great Wall restaurant located in the 400 block of North Hillside, armed with a handgun, and demanded money from the business and 2 employees inside the store. The suspect took an undisclosed amount of money and left on foot in an unknown direction. There were 7 people total in the business at the time. There were no injuries. The suspect description is a black male, approximately 30 to 40 years old, 5'8", 220 pounds, last seen wearing a black hooded sweatshirt, a black mask, and black pants. If anyone has any information on this case or suspect, please contact Crime Stoppers at 267-2111. And I think I gave you AM and it should be PM. Sorry.
Hey, Nikki, that same area is where the overall or coverall bandit, whatever we called him, had struck. Do you think these might be connected? I mean, does it look like the same type of person?
With the description that we have, I mean, it would be way too early for me to try to speculate on that. But I mean, it would be something to look at. As far as I think there's been 4 in that area this year, so it'd just be something that the robbery detectives would have to look at. But with the general description, and I'm not sure if there's any kind of surveillance video in the area or not yet. But that would definitely be something to look at a pattern and see if that's a possibility.
Do you have any updates on the actual overall?
No, the individual, the suspect that was wearing the coveralls or overalls from earlier in this year, I don't think has been identified yet that I've been aware of. Sure, yes, 17C 27625. Okay. Next robbery is under case number 17C 27500, 17C 27500, robbery in the 2400 block of East 13th Street North. This occurred yesterday at 11:25 a.m. On 4/26 at 11:25 a.m., a 32-year-old male employee reports that an unknown suspect entered the Metro PCS located in the 2400 block of East 13th Street North. The suspect indicated he had a firearm and took cash from the business. The suspect left on foot in an unknown direction and was not located. The suspect is described as a black male, approximately 5'8", 200 pounds. Only description that we have on clothing is that it was dark clothing, black clothing. If anybody has any information on this case, we would ask that you call Crime Stoppers 267-2111.
Can you give the suspect description?
Sure. Black male, approximately 5'8", 200, all dark or black clothing.
Obviously, the last 2 robberies have a very similar description on the suspect. Is this now going to be looked at as something?
Obviously, they're all looked at to see if they're the same suspects or related or anything. With this description, I mean, I couldn't tell you right now if it would be related or not.
And any surveillance video at this Metro PCS?
Unsure. I don't know right now. Okay. Yesterday, Chief Ramsey tweeted about guns being stolen from vehicles at an alarming rate. Last year, 193 guns were stolen out of vehicles, and this year so far, 78 firearms have been stolen out of vehicles. Like Chief Ramsey stated yesterday, this is a preventable crime. The police department urges our community to be vigilant and not leave property in vehicles, especially weapons. These weapons in the wrong hands can cause a very dangerous situation to society. So please, we urge you to take out personal property, purses, handbags, electronics, and of course weapons out of vehicles when not occupied. To look, there's a post on Chief Ramsey's Facebook, and the Wichita Police Department Facebook page shared it. It shows a map of where all these firearms have been stolen around the city.
One of the questions that was raised by a viewer was, if a stolen gun is used in a crime, is the gun owner responsible for what happens with that weapon?
The gun owner, I mean, it depends all through that civil, I mean, criminal court cases. That would all be determined, you know, at a later time. But it's also important to be aware that if you buy a stolen gun, you know, that if you meet somebody at a convenience store and buy a gun and it's stolen, then yeah, I mean, you could potentially get charged with possession of stolen property also. So, you know, if somebody steals a gun and tries to sell it and you buy it and it's stolen, then yes, you could get charged with a crime for that. So that's an important detail to put out too. But as far as being used, I mean, that it sounds more maybe of a civil issue than a criminal issue.
With a lot of buildings that don't allow, not all buildings, of course, not allowing concealed carry.
Right.
A lot of people might think that it's okay to put it in their glove compartment or their
Right.
console. Do you advise against that?
Absolutely, and if you need to, you know, obviously if you go to a place and you have a firearm on you and you can't take it into a business, you should have extra precautions as, you know, a safety measure, locks, you know, your glove box locks, and then you can put a lock on the firearm. There's extra precautions than you can take instead of just leaving a gun in a car, because obviously a broken window is very easy to smash and grab for guns. So there's always extra precautions that, you know, we urge people to take if you have to leave a gun in a car. But we would just suggest, if you know that you're going to a business that doesn't allow guns, just leave it at home. Don't take it.
Just in general, do most stolen firearms get recovered eventually, or do they disappear?
Probably a little bit of both. Here, get that one. I would say probably some get recovered. You know, some get turned in, some get found in a commission of another crime. I don't know the exact statistics, but I would probably say that some, be safe to say that some do get recovered, but some probably are never to be seen from again.
Are most of these guns that have been stolen, the 193 last year and 78 this year, are they mostly handguns?
I believe so, yeah. It includes both long guns and handguns, but I think the majority is just handguns left in the vehicles, in parking lots, streets, driveways. It probably encompasses everything, but yeah, most of these, like I said, I don't have exact numbers, but they're probably going to be your handguns.
So would most of these be like a crime, like an opportunity kind of thing? Because they're not leaving the handguns out so that people can see them, but they just have to break in.
Yeah, I don't know if they left their handguns out or had them in another place, or you know, it's hard to say. I could see some situations of somebody, you know, going up to a business and seeing that they can't take it in, and then going out and putting it in their car and somebody seeing it. But I also could see it as a crime of opportunity, you know, going around and you know, looking for property inside of a car and then, you know, accidentally coming up across a gun and taking it. So it's probably encompassing of a lot of things. But, I mean, that's definitely, you know, 78 this year so far, and here it is just the end of April. It's definitely alarming, and those are 78 guns that could potentially end up in the wrong hands. So, you know, the more word that we can get out and, you know, tell people, then hopefully we can get these numbers decreased.
Do you know those 78, and I guess it was 193?
193 last year.
Is there any way to track most of those happen as a result of a car break-in?
These are all car break-ins.
So
these are
they
larcenies
probably
from
broke in
autos.
And took other items, and as
Potentially. Potentially. Yes. Yeah, but these numbers are only from vehicles. These don't include the burglaries to houses or businesses or you know, lost and stolen guns from anywhere else. These are only vehicles. So definitely alarming. You know, we definitely don't want them in the wrong hands, and we as a community, partnerships, you know, we got to look out for one another. So try to get these numbers very decreased by the next year, hopefully.
And I just saw the numbers. So yes, last year 193, and the year before 151. So it does look like there is an upward.
A little bit.
Is that obviously a concern too?
But yeah, that's why we're talking about it today. That it's obviously a concern, so that's what brings it up today.
Is that spike, do you think, probably because more people are carrying handguns?
Possibly. I mean, it is possible. There's, now that the new law has taken effect and the open carry and more concealed carry, I mean, there are more guns, out there, and so that could definitely be a reason why. But, I'm not sure. I don't know. Like I said, if these vehicles are targeted because they have handguns in them, I would like to assume that the handgun is not just sitting on the car seat, in plain view. But, like I said, it's just something that we all need to work on to be more vigilant and think about a little bit before we just leave that gun in there.
It used to be electronics, they always told you,
Mhm.
and now it's like, now that concern has to be handguns.
Yeah, well, both, electronics, we still have a overabundance of purses and laptops and backpacks and, all this stuff that we've been talking about, especially for the last month, hide your stuff out of your car, take your stuff, lock your car. So yeah, now we're just adding guns into that mix as well.
And now that we're dealing with warmer temperatures, people are going to be
Yeah.
going to parks and stuff.
Absolutely.
This is a good,
Yep.
information to get out there.
Absolutely, yeah. We'll continue to get it out. Like I said, I know that we've talked about it at least a couple times. I went down the mayor's briefing earlier this month and talked about it. So we're going to keep the education going to make sure that people are aware to, treat your vehicle as it could be entered in a matter of seconds and take your property with you. Akeem, did you have something?
I was just going to ask, I know obviously a lot of us are only going to cover the story
Mhm.
in the next couple of days. What way should we do that? What are some of the most important things that you guys really want us to get across?
Most importantly is, don't leave your guns in the car, and then if you have to, have a lock box, have that extra safety measure, have a lock around your gun. That could be a major deterrent, to somebody for not taking it. But number one is, please just take your firearms out of your vehicles. Take electronics, purses, everything, but especially firearms. They can do some serious damage to, obviously, people. And then number two, if for whatever reason you have to have your gun in the car, just please lock it up and take that extra step and not just leave it in the center console. That would be the main thing to take away. But great questions today. Good conversation. I like it.
Is that something you do on a regular basis where you have gun locks for people?
I think businesses do. I think the business that sells guns, I think every once in a while, I've known that there's been some gun locks that were been distributed by police departments. But I think now, most of the time, if you go to a business, then you usually get a lock with the gun when you purchase it. So they're out there. They're out there. Okay.
Some law enforcement agencies provide, can give free locks.
Right.
A program, a child safe program. Does the WPD also provide something like this?
I'm unfamiliar with that program. I know I've seen them in the past on special occasions, and I'm not sure. I think National Night Out maybe a couple years ago. Opportunities like that. I'm not sure if we're involved in that program right now because, like I said, I think that there might even be a law now that you have to give a lock with a firearm. So I think that probably has gone down a lot just because, if you purchase a firearm, you're automatically getting a lock anyway. But I have seen them, the cord locks, that come with the guns. We do give those away when we have them. But you can always go to your local gun shop and definitely get a lock for your gun. It's important at home too. So we're covering a variety of things today. All right, guys, have a good day.